Bijan, maybe the strat for like actually like it's not about like streaming whenever anymore, right? It's about getting a job at Amazon, moving up that chain of command, and then like getting in bed with like whoever's working with Twitch, like becoming friends with them, and then they just promote your stream because you're an Amazon employee, a model Amazon employee. Like you got to be employee of the month. I need to see that plaque every month for 12 months. And then, yo, I'm telling you, game changer. Yo, this is the new strat. Hot mic. Bijan doesn't like that I do hot mic. It's
you've been yelling hot mic for like minutes. Like we weren't even live, and you were just like, "Hey man, hot mic." Like, what?
I mean, look, I worked in the kitchen back in the day. When you walk with a hot plate. You know, you gotta somebody's attention. What's
I understand,
everybody? Welcome to Super Late at 368. I'm your host, Gabe Olivero, and with me is the man with the hair that goes on for days. He's got the quarantine chest glow on right now out there. Googly eyes in the background. It's the venerable writer from the Veg, Bijan. Steven Bijan, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. How are you? What are you eating today?
I feel like special thanks to today's sponsor, Bark Things. If you could just hit me up and like get me a lifetime supply, it'd be great. I'm doing good. Also, we got something cool. I'm gonna get it out the way now before we get into the whole diatribe and talk.
Should we? No, just do it. Just do it.
I mean, just get out the way right now. Okay, so you're probably here for the many tweets you saw about the giveaway we're doing. Ha 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 ha. Okay, let me turn the face off. All right, so we have an Nintendo. Where's the Nintendo Switch? Bam! There it is. Nintendo Switch Animal Crossing. We're gonna be giving this away. The way you can enter, there's two ways, of course. There's we put out a tweet originally that was just retweet this now, instant entry. And then after this, we'll also do another post that'll be like this clip probably going up that retweet it, whatever it is. You can just join the giveaway by just retweeting the posts. And we'll be giving this out next Thursday live on Super Late. We'll announce the winner here, then and there. So yeah, retweet the post when you see it. If you're already retweeted, you're in the contest. Just so you know, that's what we're doing for the Switch giveaway. Also, tweet us, which is the big thing. Tweet us what creator, gamer, whoever you want to see live on Super Late for me and Bijan to interview, and we'll try to make that happen. If you pick, like, let's say Dr. Disrespect, and you win, we're gonna try to get Dr. Disrespect on, and we'll give you a special shout out and everything for that. So that is the rules. Hopefully that makes sense. Maybe we have an exclamation point in chat that works. I don't think so, but Bijan, back to the show.
Giveaway. We don't have exclamation point giveaway. I see. Yeah, we could probably get Doc.
Honestly, Doc? Bijan got those connects, man. Big time Verge guy.
Look. Can't use my powers for evil, but I am happy to use them here. Gabe, show me that run of show. I see a board in your hand. Are you just bored, or are you happy to see me? Oh. Thank you, all folks. Right. We're here all night.
Cardboard. Bijan, take us away. What's the I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it says GTA still free and hackers. Valorant goes public. Amazon first game. You need an apostrophe there, bro. USA market makes boku dollars and a special guest, Danny Peña. I feel like that's true. It's true. We got some stuff. Stuff going on. I got some real news. So Gabe did his thing. I'm gonna do mine.
There you go. Let us know, Bijan. Right? Educate
you like
us.
That transition? Yeah. So I wrote this. I was writing the run-up show earlier, and I was like, I had the thought because I write these like when I feel like in a mood, because it's always afternoon. I'm always in a mood. I'm always like, like, is it a good afternoon, a bad afternoon, somewhere in the middle? I didn't have coffee, so I was just like, well, fuck it. I feel like this section should be called "Shit Happens, Continues to Happen," because wow, shit keeps happening, right? Gabe, am I right? Okay, right. First up, anyway, if you didn't manage to cop your free copy of Grand Theft Auto 5, you are out of luck because that giveaway ended at 11 a.m. Eastern today. So F's in the chat if you missed it. But
it really did end? I was going to get it today.
F's in the chat for Gabe. He missed it. That said, if you did manage to get into a lobby, it probably sucked ass because there were a bunch of modders and hackers and cheaters. Kotaku reported about this earlier this week. And they, what did you say? What was the quote? The quote was, the PC servers had become, quote, infested with all manner of modders and hackers, assuming folks were even able to get in at all. Basically, people were griefing everybody who decided to spawn into the game. like spawning large planes, crashing servers, trapping people in cages. The running theory from the subreddit is that a bunch of the modders and hackers showed up because they could, if they were banned, they could just get a new copy and get a new account. So shrug. Getting banned didn't cost him any money. Which, by the way, Gabe, you want a fact? I have a fact for you.
Oh my god, of course. Why not give me a fat fact?
I'll give you a fat fact. Fat facts corner with Bijan Steven. So Something Awful actually did the same thing. That's how they got people to behave. You had to pay money for an account that would let you post. So if you got banned, you'd have to pay money to get back on the forum. Yeah, it's true.
That's delicious.
And what I'm saying is you got to give people a stick or a carrot, or ideally a stick and a carrot. The stick is obviously paying however much money it costs to buy Grand Theft Auto. I think it's like, how much is it now? Like between $15 and $40?
It's so funny because like Grand Theft Auto is one of the games that have always seemed to maintain its value. Like it's probably around $30 or $40. If you go on like instantgaming.com, you could probably get it for $15, $10. I think it's gone down in price. Like I know the last 2 years it was like holding strong at the 50 to 60 range. But I think that now that people know GTA 6 is coming and it's on the way, that they've dropped the price. Also, real quick before we keep going, go on. I had to do that because we had some clips in the chat.
Wow, that was ASMR, but the opposite. I like that.
All right, ASMR break your ears.
Yeah.
Moving on.
You want some gaming news? I got some gaming news. Valorant is going public on June 2nd. Get excited. For those of you keeping track at home, that is 2 days before Gabe's birthday. If you don't already have a copy of the game, get ready to get wrecked because people have been getting good in all this time in open beta. Gabe, have you gotten good at the game yet?
So I'm part of an illustrious server called the DGen server or the Valorant Pros. It's just like a whole bunch of DGen kids playing Valorant, and all these kids, Disrupt's in here, Ethan's in here, probably Ray, Seth, Magix, Nick, I'm calling you guys all out. They have been obsessing to get Immortal or Valorant, also Jim Basco, before the game goes live, which is now going to be like in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. And it blows my mind because I'm just like, dude, I don't know why you're sweating this much to get this rank when it's just going to reset anyway. Nah, bro, it's about the clout. So I could put Immortal and Valorant in my title on my Twitter bio. You know what it is. And, so like I like very routinely play the game like once or twice whenever we do 10 mans, which are 5-man versus in our own server. And I mainly play Brawl Stars now. I'm not a gamer. I play mobile games all the time. So I'm not a gamer. So that's like what it's become. But I've been getting back into Valorant. I've been playing some Kovacs to get my aim. If you suck at Valorant, get Kovacs, and I'll send you the playlist. It's helped with like everything I need to like get good to some extent. I mean, I feel like I'm the best player in the iron bronze category. Like I'm king of the bronze and irons. After that, it's just like I fall off hard. But I'm glad being the king of like the small anthill. I don't gotta be the king of the big one. Have you been playing Valorant, Bijan?
I haven't. I was gonna boot it up this weekend because now I have a 5-stack. I have a group of gamers who will game with me. But I did download AimLab, which is not Kovacs, but it's like Kovacs except it uses machine learning. So I've been trying to work on my aim. I'm a controller player, but I'm working on my mouse and keyboard skills. They are nowhere as good as yours. But
just so you know, just because I saw a message from Milk. Kovacs is an aim trainer. It's like $5 or $10. You can also get AimLab, like just Bijan just said, and you just go through specific like drills targeted at like reflexes, tracking, whole bunch of other things, so you can just like work on things that lack in your game. Well, let's keep moving on.
I was saying like, sorry, just one last note.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I don't mean it.
The difference between like pro players and elite players and everybody else is just like their tracking is so fucking. It's tracking and like flick shots, and if you can master those, like you're probably gonna get way better. You're gonna have better results. Anyway, accuracy. It's a hell of a drug. Speaking of games that are coming out, Amazon Studios.
1 second, Bijan. Moderators, we got a question.
We got to get a giveaway command, bro.
How's the giveaway working? I expect you guys to be in chat, making sure they know because I can't keep going back. Okay, Bijan. Let's keep going. I'm looking at you, Holly. I'm looking at you, Holly.
With the mods. I'm a mod. You can't get salty with me. I mean, you can, but I guess I don't want to think about it too hard. Anyway, speaking of games that are coming out, don't you fucked up my transition, man.
That's all part of the plan.
Anyway, Amazon Studios just released their first game, Crucible. It is a quasi MOBA team-based action shooter. It looks pretty cool. It's free to play. You can grab it on Steam. Polygon says that even though it's like it has League of Legends style gameplay, it'll feel right at home if you like team death matches. Wow, I can't talk today. Wow. I say this all the time, but seriously, gamers rise up. it's a thing that it started as a bit and now it's like poggers. It's just in my language. Anyway, yeah, you want to talk about gamers rising up? Gamers have been rising up and buying shit, Gabe. Let me tell you about it.
Wait, are we just gonna go over the Amazon Game Studios thing? Like, what is this? You just dropped that?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like, where was that transition, Bijan? Like, what is this?
I forgot I had a cold brew earlier, which is why, man, it's been a day.
We had an on our pre-meeting, pre-production conversation. The thing that Bijan threw out there that I thought was just like super high brain, like evil empire stuff, is that since Amazon started Amazon Game Studios, and this is their first game, right? And they own Twitch, the biggest live streaming platform at the moment.
Guess where Crucible premiered? Guess where it premiered, guys?
On Twitch. Can we get a T in the chat for Twitch?
T in the chat for Twitch.
Amazon's gonna manipulate their best asset right now for ad and marketing, which is Twitch, to just promote their games and just eat out of the game market. And I kind of feel like that there's like some FEC, F whatever type of thing that needs to go on, some Wolf on Wall Street. Like, someone's got to get investigated.
Gabe. There are antitrust laws, but they don't apply necessarily because the government is, how you say, fucked. Like, there's no there. I don't think there's been an antitrust case enforced since like Microsoft versus like Oracle, like with and that was over like Internet Explorer and like having software bundled with PCs. So I think, I think it's a very smart strategy. And like, like I remember I checked in on Twitch, Cypher PK was playing. Shouts to that guy, he's great. And they had 33,000 viewers. It was on the front page. I was like, Amazon, interesting strat here. How is this fair? And no one else is asking that question. That's the kind of insight that you get right here.
Bijan, maybe the strat for like actually, like, it's not about like streaming whenever anymore, right? It's about getting a job at Amazon, moving up that chain of command, and then like getting in bed with like whoever's working with Twitch, like becoming friends with them, and then they just promote your stream because you're an Amazon employee, a model Amazon employee. Like, you got to be employee of the month. I need to see that plaque every month for 12 months. And then, I'm telling you, game changer. This is the new strat.
I'm picking up what you're laying down. I'm picking it up and I'm putting it back on the shelf because I'm an Amazon employee. Picking up, shelving it. I mean, I hope those folks, I really hope those folks unionize. Shouts to that. Yeah.
So USA market making money as it's somehow figured out too off again.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I got sort of lost in the sauce there because I really, if you are feeling exploited in your workplace, please look into unionizing. Anyway, speaking of gamers and buying shit, it's big business. Did you know that, Gabe? It's huge business. Gaming is huge business. Huge business. Apparently, the US video game industry had its biggest quarter ever this quarter. I wonder why. It made $10.9 billion. That's billion with a B in the first 3 months of this year. That's huge. Hardware sales made up.
Wait, what was the 3 billion sales one? What category was that?
The first 3 months of the year, in just gaming, the gaming industry. Wild.
Okay, so it's just broad. It wasn't like a specific sector, like mobile gaming.
No. Okay. Well, so I was gonna break it down just a little bit further. Which is to say that hardware made up 770 million of that, which is very small because also the market for PlayStations and Xboxes are declining, but the Switch market held it down because Switch sales are way up, which also means
bring back the PSP.
No, get in on this giveaway. What are you talking about? Get a Nintendo Switch. You can't get them anywhere else.
Where's it at? Bijan? I think I lost the Switch now. Where'd it go?
Where'd it go?
Like God, you can't get it on the giveaway, bro. Just got to keep bringing it up here. Holly is informing people.
Thank you, Holly. Shouts to you. Also, go watch GG's. It's a good show from 368. Same channel, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Get in here. It's great.
You were saying, so you were going to break down each sector of what's been selling like crazy?
I wanted to break it down. I didn't really want to break it down. It's like, it's mostly game sales. It's not really hardware sales. It's like people basically are at home playing games. And that is the big, like, that's what's driving all this because of the pandemic. Like, I don't know about you, but I've been gaming through it, man. Like, I'm out here to
hate games.
Yeah, me too. Every night I'm like, ooh, what game am I going to play? And then it's like, okay, I'm playing another game. It's the same kind of stuff.
We have a friend on the DGen server called Daniel Hyungsong, and he was like, I only play games. This was like the most like ridiculous comment because it made no sense. He was like, I only play games because they're competitive, but I don't think games are a competitive sport. I'm like, what? You just said you play them like a sport because that was a full sentence, but you said that I don't think they're a competitive sport. I don't understand. But I'm with you on like, I've kind of stopped. I started learning how to juggle. And I was thinking about this to you earlier. And I'm telling you, give me like 2 weeks. I'm going to be like, woo, woo.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I dedicated like 2 weeks when I was a teenager to learning how to juggle, and it works. I can still do it.
It's fun. It's a fun thing to do, but it's just like being like, we would all say like, oh yeah, like playing video games every day. That's the dream. And then you actually play video games every day, all day. And you're just like, I kind of don't want to play video games every day, all day. Cause it's just like, it loses its magic even more. Cause you're just constantly in the same thing. I think it's also because there's nothing big out right now that demands like attention besides like the multiplayer games and some indie games. Like Terraria had its last update recently come out. Minecraft Dungeons is coming out next week, which I think is going to be a fun dungeon crawler. But for the most part, like there's nothing that's like moving the needle per se. Like everybody's like, oh my God, this game is coming out besides like Valorant. Final Fantasy was the last one, but everybody realized it was only the first 5 hours, expanded 60 hours.
There was also like, I mean, there was also Animal Crossing, right? And like, I do think, I don't know. I think that part of this is just the next gen systems are coming out very soon. Like they're coming out in the fall, right? Yeah. And there's between now and then, there's like Cyberpunk, there's Ghost of Tsushima, there's like a bunch of games that are cool, but like I think everyone's holding their fire till the summer because like we got a long summer quarantine ahead of us, folks.
If New York is still locked down in quarantine, I'm flying somewhere, bro. I gotta go somewhere.
Where are you gonna fly, bro?
California, maybe. They should end in July, apparently. Maybe.
Why don't you drive? Why are you gonna fly?
Because I can't drive. I'm from New York. What are you talking about?
I just wanted you to say it, bro.
Of course, you want to acknowledge that. But what else we got going on for this?
We got. I mean, we're through our headlines. We went through the headlines. There was some other stuff. I know, right? We kind of blew through them. So there was some other stuff. There was like games rumors. There was a Tony Hawk thing. There was a PlayStation Vita thing. Do you want to talk about your PlayStation tweet? I don't think we do. But I mean,
I'm gonna, I'll talk about it just to kill time. And we could always pull Danny on when we start drowning here. Like, we could just bring him on like Danny.
First of all, this isn't killing time. We're hanging out.
Oh, okay.
I do genuinely. I never ask this, but how are you doing? Like, I feel like I ask this every show, but I feel like it's not the same every show. I mean this like, how are you holding up, bro? I know you're biking a lot. That's cool.
I mean, I'm doing perfectly fine. Like every week is the same week for me, minus like the gym or something. Cause like I've had to figure out those angles and like how I'm gonna like, for me, like moving around and doing stuff is just like very intrinsic to who I am. So it's like, I'm always in that type of mode and not having the conventional way I would go about it ruins it. So I've like invested in like, there was this guy, his name's Ito Portal. This has nothing to do with gaming, but his name is Ito Portal. He worked with Conor McGregor before his fight with Jose Aldo a couple years ago. Most people know about him. And I invested in his program to start like doing some online coaching with him. And I was like, I did not know what I was getting into. It's 6 days a week, 6 hours a day. My shoulders are growing shoulders. And I'm just like,
are you working out 6 hours a day?
Waking up really early and then doing it at night. But to go on something that's a little bit more relevant towards gaming.
I don't know. First of all, gamers healthy. What are you doing?
Stay healthy. Do stuff.
You gotta work out. I worked out,
jump around
in a long time the other day. It was nice. I was a little sore afterward. It was cool.
It was good. So when are you gonna work out again?
Probably later today.
Okay. Double workout. So Bijan mentioned the PSP, right? So it's kind of weird. Like whenever it comes to Twitter, it's interesting how things. We spoke about this a little bit. What things will go viral or what things will get attention. I just posted it. I was digging through old stuff yesterday. I found my 3 PSPs, and I thought it was super relevant because this past week, I forgot his name, but he made a tweet that was like the biggest waste of potential, and it was the PS Vita, which I 100% agree. It's way better than the Nintendo Switch, 100%. And no matter of fact, the Vita had to happen for the Nintendo Switch to happen. I'll give it that. And it was just mishandled entirely by Sony. And now it's just like a game console. If you jailbreak it now, it's great because you can get the entire PSP library. Apparently, you can get even PS2 titles on it, and then you get the PS Vita titles. But like when I got my PSP back in the day and we jailbroke it, it was to get access to a whole bunch of games that were coming out in Japan at the time that weren't coming out in the US that were great. Like there was a million different types of Gundam games. There were these cool Keke Bancho games. Monster Hunter was not a thing in the States for a while, besides a couple releases. And we had to translate the games through patches so we could understand what was going on. And like that. So I had a whole bunch of those PSPs. So I just felt like there was nothing that was so good. Like
why did you have more than one PSP? I'm really curious because I never had one. I really wanted one, and I was like, damn, this is the tightest system ever. I still think that, and it's like, you know, however many years later.
Well, but I think because the reason I had 3 PSPs is because the black one was the PSP Fat, which was the OG one that came out.
Yeah.
And I got the white one, which was the Darth Vader Star Wars Battlefront one that I got because it was the first slim one, one of the first slim ones. And then the third one was the very last iteration they ever made. That one was from a Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker collection. That color was specific to Japan at one time, and then they brought it to the States by making it in that bundle. And Japan always had like a million different types of PSP colors. If you just look them up, there's like a plethora of them. And that's why I had all 3. Because also at the time, it was so weird because in order for you to jailbreak these consoles, you had to have a specific battery. Like to jailbreak the very first one. To jailbreak the Fat PSP, the OG one, that was the best one to jailbreak. And it was because of the battery for some reason. I don't know why. It was a combination of the battery and the firmware. So you had to get like you had to like hack your battery, which I don't even remember how this happened. Because it was so weird, like to get these things to work, and maybe you don't question it now in 2020. Like what? That just doesn't make sense.
No,
That's why I had all 3. That's why I had all 3.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes total sense. I don't know. I feel like one of the things I want to do if I ever like make enough disposable income to do this is to like buy all the old systems that I ever wanted. Like
really,
what do you mean?
I kind of feel like you have emulators, bro. You don't have to do that.
No, but I like want a Dreamcast. I want a Dreamcast so bad. The last time I went to Video Games New York, which was like back in the before times. I was like, hey, there's an inbox new Dreamcast for $250, and I very nearly left with it. And I was just like, wait, I can't
buy it. Why don't you buy it? You over here interviewing Dr. Disrespect, Cypher PK. Like, what's going on here?
I thought I would have another chance to go back to that store, but I haven't been back, and it's like now I can't go back. Will it survive? I have no idea. I guess the lesson is just do it while you can.
Do it while you can.
Do it while you can. Anyway, I think we should throw to a quick break.
Yes.
To get our guests ready. We got to do the little like hype them up.
Okay. I didn't have. By the way, I didn't have time this week to make a special edit for the guests, so there won't be like a big. Whoa. But coming up, we got Danny Garcia. We're gonna be talking about
Peña.
God damn it! I'm sorry, Danny.
He's listening. He can see us, bro.
Danny, you know I love you. You know I love you. We're close. We're tight. But we're gonna be talking about podcasting, Joe Rogan's $100 million ridiculous deal.
Sorry, yeah, we should have led with that. The big question is, what is Joe Rogan's acquisition going to do with podcasting, or to podcasting rather, is the better question. I have no fucking idea. I have some ideas.
Zune, toss us to break. We're drowning.
Please get us out of here. Please.
Welcome back to Super Late at 368. All right. So we got a man here, right? He's coming up. He's not. We got to build anticipation for him, right? We got to get you quivering. 1,000 episodes in the game of podcasting. Gamertag Radio. This man has interviewed some of the most illustrious game developing people in the world, from Treji, and I forgot the rest because my brain is small. I had an entire list prepped in my head, but he's the amazing Danny Peña, and he's here to talk to us about everything that's going on in podcasting, gaming, and more. Can we bring Danny in right now? Can we get some D's in the chat?
Hello.
Some D's on that.
What up, man?
D's on that, man. Yo, Danny. Danny, it looks like you're outside in Miami with palm trees, but I don't know if that's the case. What is the shadow behind you?
Nah. Boxes. I have a lot of boxes here.
You got boxes? It looks like I think I'm projecting the setting. I'm projecting the setting sun on a balcony somewhere. Beautiful. Some palm trees in the background. Holy
Danny,
shit!
How's your quarantine been going? What have you been doing?
Well, lately for like the past 3 weeks, I've been going to Central Park every day.
I've been seeing you on Instagram doing that.
Yeah, I do that, man. Because man, staying inside of an apartment for months is not easy, dude. Not easy. But it's been good lately. I've just been, going over there, and then sometimes I just watch some Netflix and play some games. And yeah, man, I've been.
Oh, what are you watching?
Good,
whoa! This is a game show. Gamer show. What are you playing?
What I'm playing. All right. Well, right now,
Valorant.
No, actually, no. I've been playing Minecraft Dungeons.
How you got early access?
I can't say. No, it's just early. It's just a review copy. Also, Streets of Rage 4.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love that game. Actually, I interviewed the composer of the soundtrack.
Yuzo Koshiro? Why'd you interview?
No, not the legend, but
Okay, all right.
Oliver.
freaking
I
out.
can't pronounce his last name. No, he's the one that just worked on the project for the new soundtrack. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So I mean, he got the new producers to work on this, man. So yeah, I interviewed him today, and yeah, been good, man. Good time, man. As a gamer, man. Lots of crazy news for the past 2 weeks or so, right?
Yeah, a
So
lot of things have been happening. I mean, there's the big. Go ahead,
No,
Bijan.
I was gonna say we've been covering it. I think maybe.
I think maybe. I mean, of course, there's the big drama. We won't get into it today, but of course, Keemstar and
Yes.
H3H3.
Yes.
You know, the ever toxic and controversial people.
Yes.
But Danny, for those who don't know you, can you give us a little bit of your background? You're 1,000 podcasts in. You're from Miami. You're living in New York. Take us through it.
Well, I'm originally from New York. I just
you
lived
are?
in Miami for a very long time. Yeah. I was
Ooh.
born and raised in New York. Yeah. So I moved back to the city.
Hell yeah.
That's much
Wait,
better. Yeah.
why'd
So
you move back?
so I just wanted a new change, man. I've been living in Miami for a very long time, man. 92 all the way to like now. So yeah. So I
Holy
just
shit!
wanted,
All right, yeah.
plus I feel like plus I feel like the stuff that I'm doing, it will work better in New York or in other like in other cities than in Miami. Miami's like a party city, man. That's a strictly party city with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I started. I used to work in the hip hop industry back in the 90s. So I used to do a lot of like promotions with a lot of well-known music artists back then, and worked with Khaled, Wyclef, KRS-One. Like I can name a long list of like hip hop artists and stuff.
Legends.
And then got tired of that scene, and I was always passionate with gaming. And then it was like around 1998, there was a company in New York City called Sudo that they launched a video streaming service, and they had a lot of talk shows. Some was about music, like hip hop, rock, and so on. So I used to watch this hip hop show in 1998 using a 56K modem called 88 Hip Hop. 88 Hip Hop, dope. And I watched it. And I remember it was an interview with Nas, and Nas started doing some freestyle. Then after that, I remember seeing Big L doing a freestyle there too. I'm like, man, so they're doing this from New York City and they're broadcasting this worldwide. And that's when I was like, man, I want to do this internet radio. So I tried to do that in the 90s, but it was so expensive. Like a real player was charging a lot of money just to stream your content through there, right? So then fast forward to 2001, Dreamcast was already out. Fantasy Star Online was pretty popular at that time. And I became like a huge fan. Yeah, I became a huge fan of Fantasy Star Online. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a radio show about this game. And it was in 2001. I uploaded through mp3.com. And that website was only for music artists and people that have their music there and you listen to it, they get paid. I was the first person that uploaded a talk radio there. So my show got picked up by IGN and like a lot of the smaller sites of PSO. Yeah, in 2001. Then everybody was streaming my show. And my first check that I got from that show was $500. So that's when I'm like, man, I gotta $500. So that's when I'm like, man, I gotta, yeah.
So
I
it was
was like,
just
man, I
about
gotta do
PSO, right?
business. What's up?
And it was just about PSO at that time. It wasn't as diverse.
Just
as
PSO,
Gamertag.
just PSO.
What was the name?
Yeah,
was it Gamertag or something else?
No, it was PSO Radio. That was what it was called. My intro was super ghetto, because originally I used to record everything on cassette, and because I just didn't have the equipment. So I will be like record, play, pause like that, and then and I edit all my shows like that, my interviews, everything, and then I had to convert that into MP3. So I'll connect my radio to the computer and in real time press play and record them on the computer and convert that into MP3, upload it to that website. That's how I used to do it back then. Super ghetto.
Back in the day, pre-YouTube. That's crazy,
man.
Dude.
Crazy, man. But that was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So since you've been in both these realms,
wait. We gotta skip from there to the more recent present. What do you have 1,000 episodes of a podcast? Tell us about that. What is the show?
Yeah.
It's not Fantasy Star Online based, is it?
No. It's called Gamertag Radio. So it's been around now for 15 years. We just turned 15 back in February. And during that time, we also had our 1,000 episode, which we had the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, on our show to talk about past and present and also the future about the company, and we talked about Xbox Series X and everything. And
Mhm.
that one was one of the biggest interviews that we had in years. I mean, we had him back in 2014 when he became the head of Xbox.
Mhm.
But this one was so big for us because that, if you think about it, that was the first interview that he's done in 2020 where he started talking about the console after
Right.
he showed the console back in December during the video game awards. So we did that, and it was like huge, man. Everybody was talking about it. It was all over the news. Still to this day, actually today, another website just talked about it because there was some rumors about Xbox acquiring Platinum Games, and they
Mhm.
Platinum Games shut that down. Like, no, that's not happening. So, and the reason why was because my co-host Paris asked Phil Spencer, are they acquiring or creating a studio in Japan? Because if you think about it, during the 360 days, there was a lot of exclusive Japanese games
Yeah.
for Xbox 360. This generation, there's been none. So we talked about that, and that's when we're like, wait a minute. So they're planning to maybe buy a new studio over there, you know? So we'll see. That's a
Interesting.
long
So
story, but yeah. So yeah. So we released already 1,000 episodes. Now, right now, today is 1,030 episodes now
Jesus, you
since into
productive,
a
man.
yeah.
when's
So it's twice a week we release an episode, man.
did you do
Twice
the
a week.
Reggie episode yet?
Not yet. We've been talking, and I'm just waiting for him to hit me up and like, hey,
Well, you
let's do
got
this
Reggie
interview. Okay, that
Fees,
was one of
baby.
Reggie.
that's my dream.
Never
That's my
does
dream, man.
interviews ever,
Oh,
Yeah,
ever.
that's
yeah.
incredible.
And I just casually just posted on Twitter, and he replied like, "Hey, let's do it." I'm like, "Oh my god, okay,
You
all right, now we're
you
talking."
gotta do a
So
video show so that you can
Gotta,
get the
gotta,
Reggie Fees hands, bro. You gotta get the
gotta.
fees of me's. You know when he talks, everything's with
yeah,
this. He's like,
Mm,
yeah, and
It's
it's
So
incredible.
perfect too
yeah,
because if you think about it, he's originally from the Bronx. So I want to
yeah.
talk about his childhood. Like, how was it growing up in the city? And I know he's
Early
doing a lot of
Bronx.
like
Bro,
yeah, early Bronx days, man. So yeah, I can't wait to
man,
talk to him about that stuff.
I can't wait to listen to it. Holy shit. But we did bring you on here to answer a question for us about Joe
Yeah.
Rogan and Spotify and acquisitions. I'm curious, like, so given the Joe Rogan, do we all know? Do I have to go over this? Do we all know the Joe Rogan news?
Joe Rogan sold his licensing rights for $100 million to Spotify. There's the news.
Reportedly. Okay, now you're caught up. So, Danny, what do you think? Like, what's like, what do you think this means for podcasting? I mean, you've been in the game for 15 years. You've seen everything happen, and this is like, I'm more curious about like sort of the role Spotify is playing in reshaping the podcast ecosystem, because this feels like the biggest realignment since like podcast worth became a thing, like because of Apple, I guess. Because remember, iPod podcast, that's where that comes from.
Yeah, so if you actually think about this, there's different things that I remember that stood out a lot that helped out for our industry back then, for the podcast industry. One was iTunes adding podcasts into the platform. Another one was Apple decided to put the Apple Podcast app as the native app on all iPhones, which was like a game changer, right? And then Spotify getting involved into podcasting a couple of years ago. Actually, our show was one of the first gaming shows to be on Spotify back in 2016, because at that time we had a deal with CBS Radio, so
Okay,
they
cool.
did a launch partner event, and it was our show, and there was a couple other ones too. So that was huge, and is the biggest news that I've seen so far in podcasting for years, man. This is the biggest one because now Apple, they haven't really been investing into podcasting
Right.
like how Spotify's been doing it for the past few years, you know?
They
And
kind of
this
just
is going to
always
help
owned it.
out. Yeah, because look, there's a lot of people that never heard of Joe Rogan, probably never heard of Spotify. And now because of this news, is going to attract a lot more people to go to Spotify and just not listen to Joe Rogan, but also discover a lot of new shows too, man. You know, so this is like a really great thing for us, man. You know, so again, more competition for Apple and Spotify, right? And I hope Apple invests more, doing more things with podcasts, man, because they haven't really been doing anything for years, man. You know.
So my question for you is, okay, so the thing about Spotify licensing Joe Rogan stuff exclusively is that, like, It's like they've also, before they did that, they also they got a few other YouTube podcasts exclusively on their service. So it feels like Spotify is trying to take over the podcast ecosystem, which largely, like, obviously there are Apple podcasts, there are podcasts everywhere, but video podcasts are a huge sector of this market. Like, they draw so many eyeballs. Like Joe Rogan's show, he said, I think a few months ago, was like got 190 million downloads a month, which is an absurd number for anybody. But like for one independent sort of channel, that's a lot of downloads. So I'm curious, like, how you think this is going to change the ecosystem, because, like, there's YouTube podcasts, there's podcasts, there's Twitch, but like what's going to change now that Spotify is like sort of taking the first shot in this, what looks like a war?
Yeah, man, that's a great question, man, because I feel now that Apple is probably going to sign deals with other podcasters too. I think that's where we're going to see a lot more of that. Because if you think about it, Apple was the first company to add podcasts into their music service, right?
Right.
Then Spotify started to do the same thing, and there was other ones too in Europe that they're not really that big now over here in the States, but we're gonna see more of that. Pandora started adding podcasting now to their platform. I think it was sometime last year. So think of it as a content creator that comes from the podcast side. This is gonna help us to get our content either more out there, man, because more people are going to be discovering shows. They're probably going to be like, hey, let's listen to Super Late. Let's go and download the podcast, just because they're just curious, A couple years ago, this was in 2015, Mark Maron had President Obama to go to his house.
Right.
They recorded a podcast inside of the garage. That was also a game changer at that time, because a lot of people just heard about the word podcast for the first time. And that's when they started checking it out from their phone and discovering new shows and everything, man. So I think this is a good thing. I know I've been around for a very long time, so I know there's going to be people kind of nervous about this. Like, oh, it's like, that's not good. They're taking over. This is too mainstream. It reminds me of hip hop back then, right? Like when an artist becomes more mainstream, the haters are like, oh, no, that's not good. I'm not supporting that. How's that a bad thing, man? That's great for our industry, man. Yeah, exactly. Same exact thing, man. So this is a good thing for our industry, man, So
since you've been around for the better half of a decade doing this thing and seeing the trends and seeing it come and go, and now podcasting, we have Anchor, we have Spotify, we have Pandora, people do stuff on YouTube. Everybody's gonna start doing podcasts now, because like, damn, if Joe Rogan got $100 million and he's just sitting there talking shit with his friends, and then he has some interesting guests every now and then, maybe I can do it too. Do you have, and podcast is like one of the easiest forms to create, because you don't really need much. You can kind of you could do it with your phone almost. So like if you had a solo show, you could just talk.
God, do you remember there used to be an iPhone app? I think it was called, like, God, what was it called? Bumpers. That was the whole thing. It failed, but like their whole thing was like podcasting on your phone through an app. I remember I made a Bumpers podcast once upon a time. It was very bad.
Oh, really? I mean, there's some Anchor. You could do that through Anchor too.
Oh yeah,
actually, that Spotify acquired them too. So that's
Danny,
another thing too. Yeah, what's up?
So then people are going to start their podcasts, right? What do you think, or if you had to create like a plan for somebody, something very short, what would they do to help their podcast grow? Bijan, you also have a successful podcast, so you should be dropping some info too.
Yeah, I mean, successful podcast. What is this? What is a successful podcast? I mean, like,
true,
we make money, I guess, but like,
you've earned money, which is like what people would love to do for something they enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, I do have a show. It's called Fun City. It's a tabletop role playing game podcast. We do Shadowrun, and it's a narrative podcast. So like, there's a lot of editing and sound design and cool stuff that like I couldn't do it on my own, because I'm like one of the players, but like our GM is a genius and like has been in podcasting and video and audio for a long time. But it's interesting because like like we made a decision early on to just not really like take like shitty ads. You know what I mean? Like there's a, like I feel like, and I'm getting to a point here, but like the ads that we do, like we don't do ads, and we rely on support from our like Patreon. And they're great, and like we have like an amazing audience who like supports us. But like I remember like when we were starting to like look at advertisers, we started like people came to us, and the ads that they were trying to sell us were very bad, and it was just like there's this low quality sort of chum, because like now podcast advertising is part of the accepted like advertiser marketing trajectory in a way that it really wasn't before. Like I feel like even a few years ago, like businesses wouldn't advertise on like mid-tier podcasts, right? Like, and I think it speaks to the growth of the industry at large. But like, I'm sort of curious myself about like, you know, like what it takes to make a successful podcast now, because like I know the thing that we're doing is very specific, and like I think like what if you're doing a talk podcast, like can you become Joe Rogan? Like is that like are there enough people? Like have we hit media saturation for podcasts? Because I feel like, you know, like podcasts have been a buzzword for a long time, right? It's like it's a thing that we like there's like the old shows like Fresh Air, and there's like This American Life, and those things are radio shows that transition. But I do feel like what does it take to make a successful podcast now? Because I think there are many different ways to get to success, but like none of them are replicable.
But what is a successful podcast? Does it have to do with money though? Only because it could be.
I don't think so.
Hey,
I don't.
my goal is I want to have 10 listeners. Once you have your 10 listeners, that to me is a successful podcast. You know, like the advice I always give out to everybody is that if you're gonna start a show, first of all, don't think about sponsors. Like erase that. Don't even think about it, because you need to build your community. That's like first. If you don't have a community, if you don't have an audience, why a company is going to invest money on advertising on your show? It just doesn't make no sense, you know? So, but when you do get an opportunity to get money, like an advertisement or sponsor, you can't say yes to everything, man. You know, there's been companies that came up to us and they were going to pay us a lot of money and we declined. And the reason why we declined was because we didn't want to promote that product on our show, especially to the young listeners. So one of them was like an e-cig. And we were like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're definitely not doing that. And they were ready to pay a lot of money, man. You know, so it's not always about the money, man.
Can you say how much money?
No, I can't. I don't want.
Of course not.
First of all, you gotta ask. You gotta ask.
No, it's all good.
But like, I'm not gonna press you on it. So I guess maybe the better question is like, if you were starting a podcast today, a new podcast, and you weren't you just you had the knowledge, but you didn't have the name. How would you do it?
Honestly, I think the best thing I will say, if you're gonna start a show right now, right, is one, be yourself, had fun. If you're gonna have a co-host that disagree with you, so you guys could have debates, great discussions. You don't agree with everything, right? Because that's what we do in our show. We have debates like crazy, crazy, right? And also, go to events, get out of your house. You can't just stream and just create content from home and nobody knows who you are. The thing that worked for me and everybody else from my crew is we go to events. It could be local, it could be outside of the state. We'll fly out to like LA, go to E3 and meet all these companies, especially like PAX East. That's like a good one, because there's a lot of indie developers that are dying for people to interview them. Because a lot of the big sites ignores them, the majority of them, right? Unless you create a big buzz, then they'll be on those sites. But if they're there, start connecting, you know, with them, man, and network with people, man. Go to parties, you know, go to meetups. Like when I moved here to New York back in September, the first thing I did was I went to meetup.com and I put up podcast or podcasting, right, to see if there was any local meetups, and I just showed up. They had no idea who it was. I just showed up, I stayed quiet, and I was just listening to see what they were going to say about podcasting. And then I came and I started giving my opinion. I introduced myself and everything, and just that, man, it helped me how to network and just spread the word about the show, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The face-to-face interaction is the best thing you could do, man.
Yeah.
You can't depend always on social media. You know what I'm saying?
It is too. So, I mean, like now you kind of have to. I mean, CC pandemic outside, but it is really.
Yeah.
I do have friends who have like extremely successful podcasts that have like, you know, they get like 5 million downloads an episode, and it's like the way they did it also followed that same trajectory where it was like, you know, like they were just they started like, one was a producer, one was an intern, and they were just like they were at a radio station that was just like, hey, you can make a podcast if you like do it during your off time, like when you're when you've done all of your work. And it like became this very successful thing because like, you know, they were putting all of themselves into it, but they were also doing something that was like it was like sort of niche. It was something that was interesting, accessible, and fun. And you know, it's like I think maybe, I guess the way to do it like is also just to create something that feels organically, authentically like fun for people to engage with. I mean, I don't know. How did you like you've done your show for 1,000 episodes. That is very successful by any metric, right? Like, how did you start?
Mhm.
Like, when did you know it was gonna work? Like, when did you know that you had something?
So I released my first episode and I had like maybe like of Gamertag rating, probably had like 500 listeners, right? Like the
That's pretty
first day or
good.
two, right? So I was like, oh, for 2005, no iPhone, that's
Pretty
really
good.
good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, when it was like, this is when I got really nervous. I'm like, okay, this is big. So fast forward, let's go back to 2005. This is when it was the end of the Xbox and
Mhm.
Xbox 360 was coming out. So I
Mhm.
heard that a couple of my friends attended an event that was MTV and Microsoft where they did like a whole show revealing Xbox 360, right? So it was on a Thursday night. I heard about this. I contacted my friends. Then on Friday, I had them on a show and I did like maybe like a 40-minute round table. We went on Halo 2
Mhm.
lobby and we recorded a podcast like that, right?
Yeah,
Super ghetto.
boy.
Super ghetto, right?
No, that's
So
indie, not ghetto. It's indie.
indie, indie. There you go, indie. No Skype. So yeah, so we recorded that, and they spilled the beans of everything about Xbox 360, right? This is before it was gonna be on TV. So I released that episode that day, and it was only up for like 30 minutes. I got an email from Microsoft saying, Danny, can you please take that down? We want to save the surprise on MTV. But it was already too late.
Yeah.
A bunch of people
Websites picked
downloaded
it up. Yeah.
and it was on forums, it was on
Oh my
different
god.
websites, all
Everywhere.
the
You couldn't
major
stop
sites
it.
picked it up. Yes, but it helped create the hype for that show for
Yeah.
MTV. But that helped us to put our name out there even more of
Yeah.
Gamertag Radio. So that helped us out. That's when like, you know what? That's the power of voice, man. Because you never know. Like I thought I just recorded
Yeah.
thinking, oh, this is a great conversation. I wasn't thinking about clicks.
No,
You
it
know what I'm
was
saying?
just
So
felt
that's
great.
it organically, yeah, it organically just went around,
Yeah.
man. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's when I noticed like it's powerful, like my voice,
Yeah.
man. You know
So
what I'm saying?
you've done a lot of stuff with Xbox. I mean, the name of your show is Gamertag. It seems.
True.
Are you an Xbox boy? It's like there's no love for
Ooh.
Sony. Like, what's the
Well,
real?
Gabe
so
asked you the
so
spicy
so let me
question.
tell you this. I have all consoles, right?
Yep.
So I've done interviews with Nintendo. We've done a couple interviews with PlayStation, not a lot.
Mhm.
But I know we did one for Uncharted with Naughty Dog. It was a couple other ones there too. But when I started my show, it was all about Xbox. But then I decided, man, let's talk about all games. Like, why just be
Yeah.
stuck on just one company?
I mean,
Let's talk about everything. You know what I'm saying? So
do you think it like was partially the era that we were in? Because I remember Xbox dominated that cycle of the console wars, and Xbox 360. Well, actually, sorry, PlayStation 2 dominated it, but like you it sounds like you came in right at the cusp of like Xbox and Xbox 360, which dominated the next generation of the consoles. So like it sort of makes
Mhm.
sense naturally that you'd gravitate toward Xbox. I don't know. I was a
yeah. I mean,
360 guy. Like I don't know.
it's crazy. I've been playing a lot more Switch than anything else. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yo, what do you?
am I an Xbox?
Switch
Am I an
boys.
Xbox boy by playing that? You know what
No,
I'm
I
saying?
think
Switch boys. There
look,
you go.
I think
Yeah.
you're enlightened because only enlightened gamers play all systems like myself.
Yeah.
I like I keep my Xbox
Yeah.
I keep my Xbox in a box.
Danny. So then, with the last, I
Mhm.
think, would you say that going into not even what you say, we're going into the next phase of gaming, and me and Bijan have had this conversation at least once, I think, per episode so far, just
Yeah.
because things keep coming around. We're getting to the next gen as is. So we got PS5, we got
Mhm.
Xbox, right? And Xbox Series 1X, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
Which one do you feel right now is positioned to really have a strong start going into the new generation? Because when we got the PS4 to PS and Xbox One, we saw how Sony kind of earned that spot by
Mhm.
making a spoof of the Xbox commercials for E3. Like, oh, all these
Mhm.
complications Microsoft was going to give you, we're not doing it. We're just going to be Sony and come out with these great exclusives. Whereas Xbox is now also taking a route where they're going, Microsoft is going more open platform. They're not really going exclusive. And I know they want to change that. So
Right.
my question is like, which one do you think is like poised to be like really strong coming out the gate?
As of right now, Xbox, and the reason why I said that is because Sony has been
He's
quiet
rigged,
about PlayStation 5.
Illuminati,
No.
Gamer
You see
Tag
what it is?
Radio.
They haven't really been saying anything. if you think about it,
I think
PlayStation has been quiet. That Unreal demo, that's not a PlayStation like, hey, this is from Sony. That's Unreal. That's Epic. You know what I'm saying?
I think Sony's hiding
been quiet.
Sony's hiding its power level, like 100%. There's like, I think when the slate of games is going to be released, like I think it's too early to tell. I think what Xbox is doing is really fascinating because it's like they're integrating their PC stuff, like Microsoft PCs and Xbox. They're like moving toward like a one platform kind of thing. Sony, on the other hand, is like still staying like straight console. Like they're not doing.
Well, we don't know yet because we don't know yet. It might change because
baby.
I think here's the thing, man, with about this, because I always have this debate like with my co-host Paris and sometimes with Pete. The thing is, Xbox they've been struggling this generation, right? And I like that they've been open like crazy to talk about their consoles since December, nonstop, every month. Phil Spencer been doing interviews talking about their plans every month. Now they're doing the Inside Xbox, and they're going to be having announcements almost every month. And then in July, Xbox is going to have like an event all about first parties for like the first party studios. That's big, right? Now with PlayStation, PlayStation haven't really been saying, they haven't been saying anything. So I'm more curious about PlayStation now because I have a lot of news like I've been reading about Xbox, but PlayStation's been super quiet. Like,
that hype,
are they going to show? Are they going to show? Are they going to show the console in June? Are they going to just show
Metal Gear
games?
Solid
and that's
6?
It? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of. They have a lot of questions.
I will say, Mazzardi pointed out in chat that Xbox, they say Xbox can't be strong with nothing to play. Lol. What has Xbox given us in the last few years? And I mean, I sort of agree with the sentiment of that question. I think PlayStation won this generation because the games were just stronger. Like I felt myself more drawn to because I think the traditional wisdom has always been games win console wars, right? Like that's the thing. Like you bought an Xbox 360 because you wanted to play Halo 2 because that game fucking ruled. That game was amazing. Halo 3,
classic.
Yes, sorry, Halo 3 also amazing. But I bought an Xbox for that myself. I bought in and I wasn't disappointed. But I mean, I'm interested to see what, I think you're right, Danny, because I'm interested to see what PlayStation's about to do. But I mean, frankly, they seem to have. I mean, I guess the backdrop here is like we're entering a new era of games and like game distribution that has sort of shifted everything. Like there aren't that many first party games, right? Like I feel like they're like developers are less willing to be locked into exclusivity stuff. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, and games have much longer lives now. Like we have like this expectation that's arisen of games as a service, right? Like so GTA 5 is how many years old? It's still getting addressed. Like it's still getting updates. Like that's the kind of like we see this sort of longevity happening too. So I think like it's become such that, in my opinion, like the consoles are less important than ever. Like they're sort of like a means to an end, right? Because things eventually come out on multiple platforms, and we have more games coming out than ever. And you can't play everything that you want to. Like there's just so many titles. So I am curious. Like I don't know, what do you think? Like the open sort of ecosystem of game development is going to do to the next generation of consoles?
You know what I think is going to be good for us. I think it's all consumer friendly right now. What I've been seeing lately, especially this. Let's say you buy Cyberpunk 2077, right? You buy it in September. The new console comes out in November. Then you will get that copy for free and even maybe upgraded.
That's 100% true.
It's 100% true. It's called Smart Delivery.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Xbox announced that a couple months ago. It's called Smart Delivery. Look it up. Even Assassin's Creed, the new Assassin's Creed, when you buy that for the Xbox One, it will be for free on Xbox Series X. Now, they announced that back in early February, Xbox, and I think that's genius, and that's consumer friendly, man. So instead of buying 2 copies, I only buy 1 and I'm good. Another thing that I like too is the game service, Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah,
amazing.
Mad value.
Yeah,
that it's smart. Plus I'll get Halo Infinite day 1 available there. I'm good.
Look at this.
Another thing that you haven't talked about is this. No. This is true. This is why I like their service, because they're promoting that then it's Project S Cloud. I could play anything
Mhm.
from their games, also from Game Pass on my phone,
Right.
tablet, and even a TV without the console. I just got to buy the controller and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and I think there was one more. There was another one too, but yeah, I know one of you were gonna say
So
something.
last week I
ahead.
had posed to Bijan a question because when we had the whole controversy of not controversy, but Assassin's Creed coming out, right? It's gonna be on both consoles, but it's gonna be running at 30 frames a second. And I posed to Bijan the question that do you think that because games are gonna be having two versions that are gonna be on the newer gen and the older gen, as a way to like work that the newer gen is going to be held back because of them trying to, because these games can run on any console. Like the hardware isn't that advanced where you can't have that on a PS4 or an Xbox One. So it's like, are they going to be held back because we're doing that new model now where it is consumer first, which is great, but it's like limitations could be imposed.
But isn't it PC been doing that for years? What's the difference between that and the consoles though?
Good point.
Because then again, it's like I told Bijan that I felt like when a new console comes out, you know, you're getting that console because it's like it's the new thing, and it's like I'm gonna get this game, I'm gonna get this game, I'm gonna get that game. There's a reason to upgrade, which is why you release it. Versus like, you know, for a PC, like you only have to upgrade your PC like once every like maybe 7 years. You can push it to 10 depending on what your graphics card is. Whereas like console has historically they've been a lot more short lived. You know, they have planned obsolescence. Which means that they're not going to be around for, you can't just like modular it, you can't change parts out of it. So it's like, what's the point in upgrading if you can get it on the other stuff?
It's like this, man. And this is the thing that I want the gamers to understand. What is next gen to them? Is it all about graphics? I don't think so.
It's all
to
about
me, next gen is no, next gen to me is how these companies are taking gaming to the next level. Let's take it back when the Sega Dreamcast came out. That was next gen, not because of the graphics. Getting a system with a 56K modem that you can actually play online in the 1999.
Yeah,
next level shit, right?
Console.
Yeah,
inside the console,
huge.
Now, take it to the next level, right? Xbox, the original Xbox, hard drive, Ethernet adapter, connector, right?
Fact.
After that was PlayStation 2, a DVD player. And you could play games. Mind blowing when it came out that time, right? That to me is next level, right? Now, Nintendo Switch is next gen. You know why? Now I could play these games on the go, man, and on my TV. Mind blowing, right? So I didn't get that feeling with right now with when it first launched, like PlayStation 4 and also not PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Yeah, like it was cool, right? It was cool when it came out, but now we've been seeing now the new stuff, like they're adding like the new services, PlayStation Now and everything. That's next gen to me. I could care less about 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second. If the game plays well, that to me is what matters the most, man. I could care less about how the game looks, man. Look, I think I mentioned this on your show back in man, you were recording. No, it was not in Cheddar. It was on your show, the Super Late, but it was
on
our party.
Oh, it was at the party. It was at the party.
At the party. The old school. So I mentioned, I've been playing a lot of Witcher 3 on my Nintendo Switch, and the crowd was like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because it's fun." You know, I travel a lot. I take the Switch with me and I play. You know what I'm saying? So that is what I want people to understand. Like, why we're debating so much about teraflops and all that. I don't know. I could care less about that.
Yeah, crap, I think you're right. I think it is about like freedom. It's like, what will this system let you do? And like, you're absolutely right. The Nintendo Switch is the most future thinking of all the consoles. You can take it anywhere. You can do you can do a lot of the stuff that you can do on the other consoles. And it's just like, it's clear that the thought that was put into it is like much. It's like they're thinking Nintendo was thinking at a much higher level. You know what I mean? Than like because I think PlayStation 4, Xbox One, traditional models of consoles. I think like with like the cloud gaming stuff, etc. Like we're gonna see a huge explosion in this. Like I think the next generation is not going to be disappointing in that specific regard. I think I think console manufacturers have realized they have to give people stuff, and I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens.
Nintendo's always last with when it comes to like online and all these other things, but competition is good, man, because it's good for us. Hey, man, I love when Xbox is in second place and while PlayStation in first place. You know why?
Oh, yeah.
Yo, they do they do
'cause they-
crazy things, man, and I think that's good. I think that's fantastic. Put it this way, PlayStation Plus, when it came out originally
Yeah. Yeah.
during the last gen,
Yep.
it put pressure for Xbox to change their service, because
Yeah.
PlayStation was like, look, you signed to play online, right? You get 2 games every month,
Free.
totally free. Totally free. Game changer. That's what I'm talking about, man. Let them compete. It's better for us, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
better
but
for
hold
us.
on. Can we go back to
That's
the back in the day when
Sorry,
PS3 had free online? That was
Oh, I do remember that.
Free
I, will
online.
still- I think that's the top line. It's like, let them compete. We'll still win. I think that's
Yeah.
I feel like that feels like it, right? That feels like we got it in one take, right?
Yeah. You know what? It drives me crazy when I see people saying all these crazy things about, like, 2 weeks ago was about Assassin's Creed 30 frames per second and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Then a week later, we get to see this Unreal Engine tech
Oh,
demo.
Yeah. 5 comes
Everybody
out.
was going crazy. Wow, my
mean,
God, looks
honestly,
beautiful.
yeah.
That game is also, that tech demo was also 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
So why there was no drama about that is because people are just brand loyalty. Like, I find that just ridiculous. man.
So then what
You know what I'm
game
saying?
coming out on the
Mhm.
current gen or next gen, whatever you want to define it as, has you the most excited? Even though Sony hasn't
Halo
announced
Infinite.
like what they're Look at that. I knew he was gonna say Halo.
Wait, but you let me
Go ahead.
let me finish though. I have a couple games, man. So
Okay.
for Nintendo, I want to check out like the new Metroid, man. I know it's sometime next year probably. Bayonetta, right? Halo Infinite. Definitely, I'm excited for Cyberpunk 2077. That's like, I love The Witcher 3. Love The Witcher 3. What I think the best, in my opinion, game of this generation.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
I can't wait to try out Cyberpunk. They're probably gonna take this to the next level with that game, man. You know what I'm saying? So
Wait,
with
Witcher 3?
PlayStation,
Go ahead.
what's up?
I was gonna say,
What
so
you were
Witcher
saying?
3 over Red Dead Redemption 2?
Ooh, Red Dead was
Oh yeah,
so
I don't.
good.
I'm not a big fan of Red Dead. You know that?
Mm,
I'm not a fan of
Really?
that game.
Really?
Yeah,
I-
not a fan of that game, man. I mean,
Oh, I
it
loved
started
it.
very slow, man. I feel like I was forcing myself to continue playing, and then it get better later. I know, but
It's like
that
playing
first-
a Tarantino movie.
yeah. The actually I was playing last night online with a couple friends. It was fun, but I don't know. That's just me.
You were gonna say something.
What else?
You said last thing you said was
Yeah,
Cyberpunk.
I am curious about PlayStation. Like, what games are they gonna have for launch, man?
Mhm.
I am so super curious for that, man.
I feel like we're gonna.
Is there a new Horizon Dawn? What's up?
I feel like we're gonna hear about that in the next like month. Like I think June's gonna be when they drop that info.
Yeah, what if it's mad?
The
lukewarm?
rumor is early June, and the other rumor is we're probably gonna get to see the console in August. If it's like that,
I mean, that controller's
worry.
kind of ugly, bro. The controller's kind of ugly. I don't know what the console's gonna look like.
Gabe, I am going
I
to
had this
reach through the
conversation.
computer and turn off your camera. And your
What?
microphone.
Oh, no.
Yo, Danny, isn't that controller not ugly? That PS5
No,
controller.
I don't find it ugly. I don't find it ugly.
So
You know
guys
what was
don't
ugly? The
appreciate-
boomerang controller for the PlayStation 3. That was ugly.
Whoa.
You remember that?
Yeah, that was terrible.
The boomerang. That's a terrible controller.
Oh.
That was a really bad controller. Boomerang. Look it up.
Danny, one more question.
Boom.
So right
What's up?
now, I mentioned earlier on the show about the PlayStation, right? How the PS Vita was the biggest waste of potential ever. Do you think Sony can come back with their own version of the Switch? Because the PS Vita was essentially the precursor to the Switch, because you had the remote play, everything. It just wasn't the Switch like fully realized, but you can take it to go with you. So what do you think? Do you think they're gonna come back?
I love the Vita, man. That was a very cool device. I feel like a lot of people slept on it, and I just can't see Sony bringing that back, man.
Really?
I'd rather focus on gonna
That's
come
fair.
back, man. Because I'd rather see Sony invest more money on their console, the services, because just didn't work for them, man, for handheld. You know what I'm saying? So Vita, I love Vita. I had to sell it because there was not really that many games that got my attention. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna be playing Luminous forever, or
Gravity Rush.
Uncharted. There was a couple games I'm like, all right, this is really cool. But after that, like third party, whack. Like Call of Duty was whack. Whatever happened to that BioShock game that was gonna come out for Vita and
They
never
gave
came
up
out?
on it really early, which was so weird because with PSP they had a lot of hits, and not only that, like I told Bijan, like the Japanese market for PSP was huge, but for this one, like they just made it like really complicated, and I didn't feel like it gave it enough support. Like it was interesting
for indie was perfect for indie games. That's like the best. One of
dating
the
rule the PS Vita right now in Japan.
Yeah, I fucking love. I love indie games.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, is it time? Is it time for our weekly wholesome?
Oh, we got weekly. But wait, before we do that, Danny, do you have anything coming up with your shows, podcasts, and exciting episodes?
Well, I'm working on a couple interviews that I can't say who it is just yet because we want to get like a confirmation very soon. But get ready because I think July is going to be a crazy month for us.
Crazy month for you?
That's that crazy month for us. Yeah.
Where can people find
I mean, this whole summer, gamertagradio.com. Search on any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio. We're there. Subscribe, follow us, post a review if you want. And follow me, Godfrey, Godfree.
You got one of the best names.
That's a fire handle. Fire handle. Well, thank you so much.
People think that it means like atheist, and it's just I got that from Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah.
I got it from, but that's it.
Facts. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. This has been great. We'll definitely we'll talk soon. We'll have you back on. This is great. We gotta when the consoles come out,
we're gonna be there.
The next time we'll have you here because just so y'all know, before we started doing this, we've done a whole bunch of pilot episodes. There were about like 40 of them, and one of our main ones was the first one was in an actual party. So it was one of our Super Lates party, and those are gonna come back hopefully. And whenever this is all taken care of, and Danny, we'll do it again so you can have the crowd looking at you like, what? What did you just say? Which one?
Witcher 3 on Switch? What?
Huh?
Yeah.
What? Hey, ready? Switcher 3. All right. Take us out. I'm kidding. Don't take us out yet. We got one more segment left, folks. Danny, thank you so much.
All right.
Peace.
All right, folks.
Weekly wholesome, baby.
It's the time you all know and love. We love it. We know it.
Weekly wholesome.
Yeah. So that was a great conversation. Man, Danny's great. That was really fun.
It's wholesome, bro.
It's the wholesome. So the wholesome thing, one of the wholesome things is Andy Milonakis is now featuring affiliates on his channel, on his Twitch channel. I should say Twitch affiliates on his Twitch partner channel. He is looking for people to promote. And if you want to be considered, all you got to do is send him a clip that is between 2 and 5 minutes long of your channel. So
don't twerk.
Hell yeah.
Don't do that. I mean, unless that's part of your stream, then do that. Anything else? Wholesome?
Yeah, actually. So I was saying this, I mentioned this earlier in the chat. But actually right after the stream in the next like hour, I will be on the Feminist Frequency stream. And it starts at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. But I'll be they're turning 11 today. They're a great nonprofit. They're also fundraising for other gaming nonprofits. So I'll be on that with Travis McElroy, Erica Ishii, a bunch of other cool people. It'll be fun. I'm gonna like play games, so you can see me game, which is not something that this show does. We don't game here.
Eventually we'll game. I mean, the gaming relief for the girls, Nars and Holly on Friday, they have the most fun. They do the real fun thing. But to just reiterate to those still in here, just so you know, the Switch giveaway has begun. We'll be giving this away next Thursday on stream. We will announce it. It's not debate. This stream was debate though to get you. But you can enter the giveaway by going to the tweet at our Twitter. There'll be a video that'll come out of here unless you already retweeted the first one. I guess you could technically give yourself a second, third, or fourth entry if you retweet the video we'll put after.
Is that how it works?
I mean, who knows? I mean, I don't know, man. We're just figuring things out. But retweet the tweet that you see, and you'll be entering the giveaway. It's totally free.
Oh yeah.
To you I won't send it to you next Thursday. I'll probably send it to you Friday, but we'll announce the winner next Thursday on the show. Bijan, I think it's time for us to go home. Well,
oh yeah. Well, I'm already home, but yeah. I mean, I know you bike a lot.
Cardio, thick thighs, save lives.
You can't say that on Twitch.tv, bro.
Yes, I can.
We had squats for subs. We can't do that anymore. Although if you want to, If you wanted to sub or squat, please do that from the comfort of your own home. All right, folks, that's another great fucking episode of Super Related 368. I forgot the name of the show because holy shit, I'm still reeling from that Danny Peña interview. Holy shit, that was great. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We'll be here next week, 7 p.m. Eastern. Super Related 368. Our channel is, well, you already know it if you're watching, but it's 368 NYC on Twitch. Also, watch GG's. They go on Fridays,
tomorrow,
7 p.m.
And Anchor, YouTube, the things. We have a YouTube channel.
Oh, right.
Bijan's
we got
starting.
Sorry, my brain is rebooting, but we do put this show out in other formats. Check our YouTube, check our Anchor page. We love you. Goodbye.
Can we get an L in the chat for love? L in the chat for love.
All love, baby. Put some hearts on the screen. Gabe, do a heart with your hands. Do it. Gabe, do it. Gabe, do it. I'm hearting. Gabe.